Good afternoon, Ms. Mankge.
Good afternoon, Chief Justice. I'm sorry I forgot to take off my mask.
Are you well?
I am very much well, thanks. How about you?
I'm very well, thank you.
Thank you.
I see you hold a string of degrees here, BUris, LLB, LLM, and even a postgraduate certificate in mining tax law. Is that correct?
Yes, it's correct, Chief Justice.
You were a prosecutor for about 7 years, am I right?
Yes, it's correct, Chief Justice.
And a magistrate for about 9 years.
Correct.
And for how many years did you practice as an advocate?
For 5. This is my actually 7th year.
This is your 7th year.
Yes, from 20 years.
And I can see you've acted as a judge.
I beg your pardon, Chief Justice?
You acted as a judge.
Yes, yes, I have.
For how long, more or less?
It's about 90 weeks, if I'm not mistaken.
Was it a fairly comfortable ride or rather too bumpy for your liking?
Well, it was not uncomfortable, but at the same time, it was a bit challenging and also intimidating, but manageable.
And what is the longest it has taken you to produce a judgment?
The longest is maybe 6 to 7 weeks.
Okay, but on the whole, you've adapted to the environment. That's why you are here.
That's why I am here, Chief Justice. Yes, I have.
Okay. Colleagues, let me have the names of those who would want to put questions to Ms. Mankge.
Nyambi.
JP, over to you.
Acting Judge Mankge. Good afternoon.
Good morning. Good afternoon, Mukoni.
Thank you. You are giving us a problem in the Middelburg court.
I was not aware, Mukoni.
Well, every official who ever had the opportunity to work with you, all of them, without exception, want to work with you. Now, perhaps you need to tell us what is it which you are giving them? What is it which you are saying to them? Because I also want everyone to work with me. What is the magic around it?
I wouldn't know, Mukoni. The only thing that I know is that I always walk around appreciating that I am a product of grace myself. So I endeavor to be graceful to other people because I also, as I'm saying, a product of grace. So maybe because of that, and then it overflows to other people.
Now, you have indicated to the Chief Justice that you have acted for a number of weeks. What kind of judicial functions were you doing? Criminal work or civil work or both?
It's actually both. In fact, JP, I can just say I'm a saswish. Everything from motion, unopposed, opposed, criminal trials, criminal appeals, civil appeals, a saswish. That is how I can to conclude or sum up myself.
No, don't be worried about the commissioners. And I think they're just trying to make you relax a little bit. And that is why you hear them talking and laughing. You get my point. So, and I think it's a way of saying, please relax.
Thank you.
Now, During the time when you were acting, can you remember more or less how many judgments did you write other than criminal matters?
Other than criminal matters, in the civil the civil matters, both civil trials and opposed motion and unopposed, I just did one. It's not less than 50, not less than 50. God.
And any of your judgments, have they been taken on appeal?
As you can see from my application, I noted, I've indicated that one was, I've granted leave to appeal. I found out just 2 weeks before I came here that it was heard by full court in the division, and my judgment was upheld. So that's the only matter, and I sometimes wonder why people are not appealing against my judgment.
And I take it was not upheld because you are still acting there. It was upheld on merits.
I can imagine, yes.
Okay. Now, it might well be that other people may say, well, you have not spent a number of sufficient years as an advocate. If that was to be raised with you, what will be your answer?
As in what? As a what?
As an advocate.
Oh, well, if it can be raised, I would say I come from an understanding that experience is actually content-based. And if you look at the content, I would still say it doesn't matter how much the number of years I've practiced as an advocate. But over and above that, I am clearly, I was a judicial officer as back as 2004, even though by then I was in the lower courts. But that experience cannot be quashed. The experience as a prosecutor cannot be quashed. The reason actually why I diverted, or I resigned and left the magistracy, it was because I knew that I'm called for bigger things. And I knew that when the time comes for me to maybe work or be recommended to work in the High Court, I will need to have various experience. So as a prosecutor and as a magistrate, I was only having that experience from lower courts. So that is why I went to try and augment it with the experience from practice. So I'm still saying, even if the number of years of my practice as an advocate, but I have content and I am ready. In fact, Mogone, I'm not only ready in terms of the legal experience and practice, I think I'm also ready in terms of character. Because I remember when I was thinking for times like this, I was always praying that when this time comes, it must find me with a character that is strong enough to handle the weight which comes with the power of this kind of positions. So my character is adding as well that it will handle the power. I'm not going to be intoxicated by power or favor that comes with the position. So I do have content.
Is it why you keep on moving from one office to the other, interact with the officials to the extent that everyone wants to work with you? Okay. Now, how is your relationship with colleagues?
As in the judges, the other judges?
Yes.
My relationship is very good with everyone, from the cleaners to the security, to the admin, to the judges. And I guess with you, Mokone, as well, it is very good. And Mokone, if I may add, other than the fact that I am, well, at home they always say I have a good heart. Other than the fact that I have a good heart, I also made it a choice to be kind to people. Like I'm saying, that because I'm a product of grace, I just need to be graceful to people as well.
Well, kindness is all what we need as a society. Thank you very much, CJ.
Thank you, Judge President, Premier.
No, thank you very much, CJ, and good afternoon, Advocate.
Good afternoon,
Just
Premier.
one question from my side. Do you have any reserve judgments? If you do have, for how long have they been outstanding and what could be a reason for that?
Yes, Commissioner Mtweni, Premier, from the province of the Rising Sun. I do have reserve judgments, but they are just 2-3 days ago because I was sitting in the opposed motion, so I reserved those judgments 2 days ago. They're about 3. Excuse me, they're about 4, Commissioner.
Thank you very much for the response and thanks to you, CJ.
CJ, just before I forget,
Thank you, Honorable Premier. Yes, JP?
the Chief Justice referred to your qualification in mining. Do you recall that?
Yes.
Would you agree with me that by the nature of the high field, most of the matters that we get from time to time, almost on a daily basis, relates to mining disputes?
Yes, I agree, JP. And in fact, I was thinking that you are allocating those matters to me purposefully because I always get matters which is to do with mining because of our province.
Well, I did not know that you do have a qualification in mining, but it's just simply to ensure that everyone has the opportunity to deal with all sorts of cases.
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Thanks, Chief Justice.
Thank you, Honorable JP. Honorable Nyambi?
Thank you, CJ. Afternoon, Advocate.
Good afternoon, Commissioner Nyambi.
If you can share with us 3 attributes of a good judge, mainly focus on those that you think you possess that will make the Mpumalanga division to be efficient, effective, and function at optimal level.
It's first of all impartiality, open-mindedness. If I say open-mindedness, Commissioner Nyambi, I don't want you to confuse me as saying maybe I cannot stand firm, but open-mindedness in the sense that I treat each case on its own merits. In other words, I brainwash myself from the facts of the previous case so that I can enter with a clean mind in the next case. So I endeavor to be impartial when I execute my functions. I endeavor to dispense equitable orders as expeditiously as possible. Hence, I was even answering the question that my judgment is about 6 to 8 weeks. So that is one thing that I can say about those attributes. And obviously, I don't see anything wrong with having a kind judge where everyone is describing you as kind. We need such people, especially when we are a woman, Commissioner Nyambi. I'm sure you can see that I'm having a dog today. And it's not about a bad hair day, but I'm representing other women in law, in particular those who are in practice, who are struggling out there to get work. So I'm here to represent them. And that is the reason why I'm wearing this dog today, to honor them. Other than the fact that I'm an African woman, but I honor those women today to say it is possible.
My last question, as a woman, probably if you can be able to tell us any other outstanding challenge that you have experienced looking at your age and the challenges that they were coming from as a country. What you have gone through as a woman in your profession?
Obviously, one of the challenges that I experienced, I've touched on it a little bit, the lack of work for women in practice. So that is one of the things that I've experienced. Otherwise, to be honest with you, I have never experienced any abuse or any mistreatment in any way. That's the only thing that I've experienced. But because I had men in my life, like the advocate I was sharing chambers with, he took me along, introduced me to his friends, and made sure that he tells them that she is a female. if you have work, please give her work. So it did not become difficult in that manner because we had men who believed in women, and I wish every man can be like that counsel and believe him. He was also a junior like me. We were doing pupillage together, but he took it upon himself to make sure that he empowers women.
Thank you, Advocate. Thank you, CJ.
Thank you, Honorable Nyambi. You are excused, ma'am.